Universal's newest roller coaster, the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, is completed. A great new addition to the park, but with our eyes forward, always looking to the future. What would be the next big thing to hit the parks? Let's talk about it. And we are not talking about Epic Universe. Epic Universe is the big deal, it is a big thing, but it's its own thing. It's like if you already have 2 kids and you're gonna have a third, well, the older 2 kids, you still need to buy them shoes, you still have to put food on the table for them. So with that in mind, we're gonna walk around Islands of Adventure and Studios and talk about some of the areas that need some attention and what attraction could come to those areas. I love these types of videos. It's all speculation, all conjecture, sort of a critical thinking exercise, if you will. So when we get to a section of the park that I say needs to be revamped or renovated, or that perhaps a new attraction could go here, I want you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. It's not just my thoughts I'm interested. I'm interested to hear what you think needs to be done with the park. What could be the next big deal to hit the parks? So let's have fun with this. Don't take it too serious. This is a fun little thought-provoking exercise. And in that vein, let's talk about Marvel Superhero Island. There is kind of sorta an area available for expansion here to add at least one new attraction. Now the thing is, I don't know if Marvel Superhero Island has ever changed. And quite honestly, the rights to the comic book characters is very muddled. I don't know how they could change things here. I don't know if they're just stuck with how it is, but in Rix World, we're gonna come up with an idea to add a new attraction. I think you all know that Disney bought Marvel, but the thing is, when they bought them, they chose to honor all the current agreements that Marvel had, even with Disney's competitors, including Universal. And the contract that Universal has with Marvel was in perpetuity, meaning it will last forever as long as Universal holds up their end of the bargain. Now, I don't know what that means as far as like adding new attractions here. I don't know what that means. I mean, if someone knows, let me know in the comments below, but I don't know exactly what rights Universal has to which characters that they can do attractions for. Let's put it that way. But we're gonna come up with some ideas nonetheless. Here at the edge of Marvel Superhero Island, we have this amphitheater. It's been here like forever, and it's hardly ever used, at least not recently. This can be some prime real estate that could house a new attraction for Marvel Superhero Island. But as I alluded to earlier, what can they do? I have a couple different ideas. One could be a She-Hulk attraction. At one point in time, Universal had a pretty strong hold on the rights to She-Hulk. I don't know if that's changed because Disney Plus is doing a show for the She-Hulk on Disney Plus. So I don't know if that's changed at all. But one idea would be to have some type of She-Hulk attraction. But let's just say for argument, Universal is not allowed to use the She-Hulk or any other Marvel characters for new attractions. What could they do? Well, I sort of have a generic idea that would work for a new attraction here in this old amphitheater. Well, actually, we would not use the amphitheater. We would tear it down. But maybe an attraction where we are visiting the Banner Annex, or maybe we are in Reed Richards' laboratory and we get spritzed with some type of a chemical and we become superheroes ourselves. The ride would consist of us learning to be a superhero, learning how to fly, learning how to use our other powers, things like that. So if we do something like that, we are not using a Marvel character, we ourselves would be the superhero. Thusly, I believe this idea could work. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my idea, and you share with me, what would your idea be for a superhero attraction in this old amphitheater? Regardless of any of our ideas, this amphitheater is a wasted space, but it is an opportunity for a new attraction to eventually come in this area. Of course, the other thing to consider, this amphitheater is very, very close to Toon Lagoon, but it's the possibilities of a new superhero attraction that excites me. No, I don't think this area will become the next big thing at Universal, but it is something to keep in mind. Okay, we are done with Marvel Superhero Island. Be sure to leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts on what we can do here. But let's make our way now to a section of Islands of Adventure that is always brought up when we talk about a need for a retheming. And by the way, in March and April of 2021, a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of talk about Universal having to retheme Seuss Landing. I'm here to say that is ridiculous. That will not happen. Oh boy, let's head into the Lost Continent. This is the area everyone talks about, everyone speculates we'll get a retheming, but they've been speculating and talking about it forever. Okay, let's talk about this one. The Lost Continent, home to 2 or 3 places to eat, mainly Mythos, which is a very fine, very good restaurant to eat at. Also, several places to do some shopping. The main attraction here has forever been Poseidon's Fury. However, I have stated many times, Poseidon's Fury, not my favorite attraction. Very outdated. Also, Poseidon, not a very beloved attraction here at Islands of Adventure. However, the attraction is so cheesy, it has developed somewhat of a cult following. Those people really love it. But the general public, not so much. But personally, it is time for that attraction to be revamped. And when you talk about that, you have to talk about, will they just revamp or retheme the entire Lost Continent? Without a doubt, when it comes to retheming this area, as far as the entire land is concerned, the #1 subject brought up is The Legend of Zelda, of which I would be all in favor for. I've always loved Zelda, been one of my favorite video games since I was growing up. So for me, I would love it if that happened. Now the other retheming I did, batted around a lot, not quite as much as Zelda, is the Lord of the Rings. Now I am a proponent of Lord of the Rings. Some would say, well, the movies are too old. I would say they are classic movies, and of course the books are classics as well. But then you have the fact that I believe it's Amazon Prime is going to be coming out with a new Lord of the Rings live action series, thereby bringing new life into that franchise, and maybe one day retheming this whole area to Lord of the Rings. Now when it comes to these 2 retheming ideas, you would think they would have to do the whole area, not just the attraction. Especially for Lord of the Rings, I mean, that is such a deep and immersive environment or universe. You would think you can't just like update Poseidon's Fury, you would have to redo the whole land as Lord of the Rings. And maybe that might be true for Zelda as well. I think the area looks great, so I don't think a total retheming is necessary, and that would be very expensive. But at least to add one really good attraction in here, I think is necessary. But as I think further on the subject, I think the Lost Continent does seem kind of generic. Maybe it does need a strong IP to come in here. But as always, I would like to get your take on the matter. What do you think of the Zelda retheming idea or the Lord of the Rings idea? Or if you have an idea no one has mentioned before, please share that as well. So those were the 2 areas Universal could do something with at Islands of Adventure. But I don't think the next big thing is going to come here to Islands because they just received the last big thing. So let's head over to Studios and see what we can do over there. Yeah, you see this Jurassic World Velocicoaster? Kind of a big deal, kind of a big thing. And personally, that's where I think Universal Studios needs to add another big thrill ride over there. Okay, into Universal Studios we go. Let's tell them how to spend their money. First up, we have Shrek 4D. I 100% think this needs to be revamped, rethemed. I just don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to leave this to you guys. Please, in the comment section below, tell me what we need to do with Shrek 4D. But we got to do something. It's one of the first attractions we get to in the park. Let's give it some pop. Pass holders would revolt if they ever retheme The Mummy. Pass holders would rejoice if they ever retheme Fast and Furious. There are 2 areas at Universal Studios ripe for renovation or a new attraction. We're gonna go check those out right now. Oh yeah, the Kids Zone. A lot of land back here to retheme. The funny thing is, before Universal Studios decided to build Epic Universe, they actually had plans to revamp and retheme this Kids Zone. They had construction walls up and everything. This is the original spot where they were going to put Super Nintendo World. But like I said, they came up with a brilliant idea of creating Epic Universe. So no disappointment there. Actually very happy about that. But now, what shall we do with this land, this area? I still say it is ripe for retheming. Of course, E.T.'s Adventure would stay. We're not going to mess with that. But my dream scenario, my dream idea, I would turn this into Hill Valley. It certainly is large enough, and we could add perhaps a ride to represent, or an attraction to represent each of the 3 movies. Plus a lot of cool dining. For example, Cafe 80s. Yes, it would be a dining spot inside of my Hill Valley. Also, I believe if we turn this into Hill Valley, it'd be a good opportunity to add in a new Jaws attraction. You know the movie where we have like Jaws 17 coming out of the movie theater and like trying to chomp on Marty McFly. We could have an attraction kind of dedicated to that. That way it's kind of a twofer. We get Back to the Future and Jaws, which leads me to the other idea I have for retheming this area. The other thing we could do with this area, if we did not want to go full on Hill Valley, make it into Retro World, have an attraction for Back to the Future, have an attraction for Jaws, maybe something for Beetlejuice as well. So that's what we could do if we didn't want to go with my Hill Valley theming. So what do you guys think of those 2 ideas? We have Hill Valley, I really like that one, or Retro World. If you like Retro World, what would you put in here? I went with Back to the Future and Jaws, but you tell me, what would you do? Now I know I'm going to get pushback from families with kids. I understand that, I accept that pushback. But there is a lot of land back here, and at one time Universal was going ahead and get rid of it. So let's just, in the comment section below, let's all discuss what we really want to do with the kids zone. And check it out, a day in the park with Barney already shut down, so one less thing we have to worry about closing. It's already closed. Here's one little small change I would like to see. I would like to see, next to the SpongeBob store, I would like to see a Krusty Krab. I would eat there. I want Krusty Krab burgers, and I want that Krusty Krab pizza. After all, Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. Up until now, everything we've talked about has just been appetizer. We are heading on to the main course, to the place where I think the real next big thing is going to happen at Universal Studios. The old Fear Factor Stadium could be home to the next big thing. I have said for the longest time that Fear Factor Live is not returning. It's done, it's dead, never to return. But for some of you, denial is not just a river in Spain, people. You're in denial. So now that I've gotten you out of denial, the river in Spain, let's talk about what could replace Fear Factor Live. It is very close to London and Diagon Alley. The leading theory is that this would be the home of the Ministry of Magic. I'm in favor of that. I would like to see a very Tower of Terror-like attraction coming here. But instead of just pulling you up and down, which it would do, it would also pull you frontwards and backwards in this Ministry of Magic attraction. And let's face it, Harry Potter attractions pop. They provide a big pop to the theme parks. We've got some fond memories of Fear Factor Live. Nikki came in second here. She competed, came in second, won a t-shirt. And then of course, all the Bill and Ted performances that happened during Halloween Horror Nights. Fond memories, but let's put something different in here. Now some of you watching may not be Harry Potter fans. In that case, you tell me in the comment section below, if not a Harry Potter attraction, what would you like to see come take the place of Fear Factor Live? And for you kids watching, you let me know in the comment section below, where is Denial? Is Denial not really a river in Spain? You tell me all about Denial. But as for me, I am officially predicting the next big thing other than Epic Universe to hit Universal will be something here in the old Fear Factor Stadium. You know what, before we go, let's head into Diagon Alley. I think there's an area in here ripe for expansion as well. There's the dragon, the Fountain of Fair Fortune, Nocturne Alley is right through there, and behind these walls here, perhaps room for an expansion of the Wizarding World. I have never been back here, but I've been told by team members there is enough space back here for an expansion of Diagon Alley or the Wizarding World in general. I'll have to take their word for it, but especially if something's going vertical, might be enough room to add a Harry Potter attraction behind these walls here. So maybe, just maybe, we do not need that Fear Factor stadium in order to expand the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Well, alright, that was a lot of fun trying to figure out where and what the next big thing would be. I cannot wait to read your comments. And as always, don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun. Thanks for watching Rix Flix, and now, click that subscribe button. Hello and welcome to the team, some new Flixters. Executive producers, Fireplace Services. A new producer in Tina Ray. And 3 new supporters, Jim Clark, Susan Brunel, and Share the Magic. Thank you guys so much for joining the team and supporting the channel.